Hiring a sales team can kind of feel like handing over the keys to your brand new sports car to someone you barely know, saying good luck and hoping they know how to drive. That's why you need to have the right system in place to discover and nurture the best drivers or salespeople in the business. I want to tell you how I grew my sales team the hard way, and I'll talk to you about the easy ways, the best ways to make sure that it scales. Let's talk about how to hire a sales team. Having a sales team can be the best thing that helps you scale the fastest. You can scale to 6, 7, or even 8 figures just by having a sales team in place. One of the most important things in scaling your business is having a repeatable process for sales that removes you as the person selling. Anywhere you can remove yourself as the bottleneck and have a system and team to scale outside of the business, your business will accelerate faster than ever. When I first learned this, it was so eye-opening for me, but I did it wrong. And I got myself into quite a bit of debt because I was investing so much into building a sales team and a system that didn't require me, but I didn't have the right tools in place to set the system up. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. The first thing I did is I hired some salespeople, but I paid and incentivized them all wrong. I had money beliefs at the time that I thought if I pay someone a very generous salary and a very generous commission, they'll work really hard. And because that's how I operate. That's how I would think that I would react. But that can also be kind of limiting to the person if maybe it might get complacent in that and not feel like they have that push or that goal to go after. And a lot of salespeople will work for commission only, and that's very lucrative for them. There's many different ways that you can pay your sales team. You can give them a base plus commission, or you can give them a generous commission. And there are salespeople who are making high 6 figures because of the targets and the incentive bonus structure that they have. When you set it up properly, it's a win-win for both of you. A lot of salespeople that you're gonna meet, the way that they're wired is they wanna have those goals, those targets to hit, and if they're not challenged enough, they can become complacent, they might start looking for opportunities elsewhere, or not be putting in the effort, the productivity that you need to grow your business. So I'm gonna talk more about some of those systems to have in place to make sure that you have that set up for your team to have a win-win scenario. The next mistake I made is that I didn't have any lead sources set up. I didn't have lead sources set up for inbound, and I didn't have any process or expectation for my salespeople to do outbound sales. I'm gonna share how I overcame that and what process I installed into my business that you should install in yours. But before we get into those 3 tips, have you subscribed to this channel yet? I wanna give you all the latest strategies for your sales and your business growth, but the easiest way to stay in the know is to subscribe to my channel. So hit that red button below before we move on. I would say that that's like the number one thing you need when hiring a sales team is a sales outreach strategy for both inbound and outbound sales. So either leads are coming to you or you're going to them to build a relationship with them, provide them a transformation, and sell them into your products and services. So the inbound sales that I now have set up that I wish I knew about before were having opt-in funnels or case study funnels or something that people are signing up, requesting more information, showing that they're interested. That's one of the things that we use now so that people are always seeing the results that our current clients are getting and getting an image of what it could be like to work with us. I would recommend having application funnels where you show like, this is the product, this is the service that we provide, here's case studies and tons of testimonials from people just like you who are succeeding with this, and offer a call where people can apply, book a call with you or your sales team, and get more information. We'll also put this on the thank you page of any of our opt-in or lower ticket sales funnels. So on the thank you page, there's something that says, want to get the fast track, want to see what the next steps are? If you want to get on a call with our team, we're offering a free strategy call or a free implementation call, or sometimes you can call it a breakthrough intensive call. One of the things we've also done that has increased our call volume and sales is include a call with something that's been purchased. We know that this is someone who has already qualified themselves as interested, as a buyer, as someone who wants what you have to offer. So by giving them this free call, which you can tell them is an implementation call, strategy call, breakthrough intensive, that can help move them towards the next level. Maybe they just need that push over the line, maybe they need some support or they have some questions. And if they can get on a sales call with someone who can hear their pain points, help overcome them, and then show them the next step that they can buy into, you're gonna have a much higher conversion rate on people who are already buyers. It makes sense, right? Someone has already purchased something at a lower ticket price, and it gives your salespeople opportunities to have calls with these clients or prospects to upsell them into other offers. Now let's talk about outbound, because inbound can be awesome if you have the system set up, that you have calls being booked all day, every day, that you keep your salespeople so busy, but you also want to expect that there's going to be times where they don't have things booked, or the more that you're scaling your team and you have more salespeople, we want them to be on the hunt for these qualified leads. They are everywhere. We just need to know how to find them, reach out to them, and build the relationship with them. So that can be on social media, on LinkedIn, at live or virtual events where networking is easy, and they can build these relationships that then turn into sales opportunities. I'd love to hear from you. Where do you typically find your target audience hanging out online? If they're business people, maybe it's LinkedIn. For others, maybe it's Instagram. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know what's worked for you in getting either inbound or outbound sales. Whether the lead has come from inbound or outbound strategies, I want to share with you the importance of dating your audience. Don't go right in for the kiss or right in for the proposal. That can be more damaging than valuable and actually quite alarming. Think about it this way. If you're on a first date with someone and they propose to you right there, you might be flattered or offended because you're like, you haven't even dated me yet. You haven't taken me to dinner. You don't know my name. You haven't asked my parents. It's a similar thing in sales. You want to build that relationship and build up that social capital before you ever ask for them to buy something. And something that I heard from Alex Hormozi, who you should absolutely go get his book, $100 Million Offers. He is the best salesperson that I know. He talks about how salespeople don't ask for the sale until they know it's a yes. Kind of like how lawyers, attorneys, they don't ask a question unless they know what the answer is. So we want to build that relationship with our audience, and we know that they trust us. And at this point, they're like salivating for what we have to offer before we even offer it. This is going to be really important as you are training and managing your sales team, whether they're doing inbound or outbound, or typically, I think your salespeople should be doing a mixture of both. As a disclaimer, you might find salespeople who aren't interested in doing outbound sales, that all they want to do is take the inbound calls, and maybe that's their expertise, that they're really good at doing that. It's totally up to you whether you require people to do both, or if you want to have people that that's their superpower, you just have them on the inbound and you have another system for your outbound sales. I would test it out and see what works best for you. So once you have your salespeople in place and your inbound and outbound process aligned, now you need the sales process and KPIs. So what does that process look like in terms of outreach? What's being said in terms of your messaging? Whether you have 1 or 200 salespeople, they should all have approved messaging that aligns with your voice. I can't tell you how just gross it feels if you were to look over your salesperson's shoulder, if they were going to show you some of their conversations, or if you watched a recorded call and you see it and they're being just used car salesman kind of slimy, or they're using tactics that you just don't agree with. I've been there. I've learned from these mistakes that I unintentionally created an unclear system that allowed some of my salespeople to go into calls being too pressuring and too pushy. And that's personally not how I want my business to come across in sales. So this is going to be a really important process of onboarding your salespeople and having this process implemented in your team. Is maybe you need a sales script and to streamline this process for your employees. So maybe you want to make sure that in conversations your team has with prospects that they don't want to be too salesy, but they also don't want to be too soft, but providing value and getting to the core of what this person needs. You also don't want your salespeople to have commission breath. That's what we like to call it, when they are too pushy or pressuring and you know that they just want that sale, but they're not really caring about the person. The next thing to have in place is your KPIs to measure whether your salespeople are successful or if they're failing. How many people are they reaching out to every day? How many people are they actually getting on calls? And we have set up in our business a non-negotiable expectation for those minimums. How many calls did you book? How many calls showed up? How many calls did you close? Now it's up to you to create the percentage that you want them to be closing. And also to make sure that you're monitoring that, whether you have one person on your sales team or multiple, and making that transparent to the whole team. So you can say, salesperson 1, 2, and 3, here were your numbers each day. It creates a little bit of lateral accountability to see how that person is succeeding or how that person is booking calls or closing calls. And you want to be able to do a little bit of comparison, maybe a little friendly competition. This is one of the areas where I failed. I had a sales team, sales weren't coming in, and I just thought, well, they just have to keep trying. But I needed to have the accountability to see how many calls are you booking, how many calls are showing up, and how many calls are you closing? And if they didn't have those numbers, well, then how do I know that what they're doing is working, or how do I lead and mentor and coach them to success if we don't have that transparency? So if they're not booking calls, are they doing outreach? If they're booking calls and no one's showing up, we need to assess the quality of leads that they're booking and how they're following up or reminding those people. If they have tons of people showing up to calls but none of them are closing, we need to now look at their sales process and see what are they doing that isn't working. And this brings me to the third point in knowing that your role changes from you being your own sales representative to being a sales manager. At the beginning of your business, you're likely to be doing all of these sales yourself. When I first started hiring salespeople, I paid them well and I expected them to be accountable, but I didn't know the systems that I needed to have in place, so I didn't set any of us up for success. You can't just let it go and set it and forget it. It's your role to lead them through the sales process and continue accountability and encouragement. So review calls, offer constructive feedback in front of the team for continued sales training, have them listen to podcasts, read books, share our biggest takeaways as a team so that there's lateral accountability and coaching among each other. One of the things I'd recommend doing is if you review their sales calls as a sales team, give that feedback in front of everyone so that everyone can learn from that. And then if you're reviewing sales calls, you also have the opportunity to pick up a sale that you might think be lost. This has happened to me before where the prospect was asking qualified questions, but the salesperson might have had a mindset block or a limiting belief that prevented them from closing the sale. So you can either give that feedback to the salesperson to try to reach out and close them again, but then you can also reach out as the authority or attractive character of the business and try to close that sale yourself. It's a learning opportunity for everyone. Another mindset shift I had as a sales manager, and this is something I learned from Alex Hormozi, is that it's your job to only tolerate A players on your team. Don't let your salespeople get complacent or comfortable. Don't let them slip. You have incentives in place to help them make more money. But if they don't hit their KPIs, the role isn't right for them. You should be constantly working to improve and encourage and mentor your sales team. And if you don't have A players on your sales team, what does that say to the rest of the team if you would tolerate that? A players want to play with A players. And I don't mean for that to sound cutthroat, like if you don't hit your targets, you're out. Like we give them time, we coach them through it, we mentor them through it. But in business, if you're not making sales, everyone is suffering. That's why it's so important to have that lateral accountability, and if they don't hit their targets, they might not be good for the role, and make space for someone who is. If you want to make your life even easier for your sales team and your business in general, I want to show you how you can ascend leads from hello to high ticket in my next free private training, and I'm actually going to give you access to my highest performing, most revenue generating campaigns that you can plug and play into your business to maximize lead generation and sales. So click the link in the video description below to attend my hello to high ticket training. Anywhere you can remove yourself as the bottleneck. I'm going to share how I overcame that and what process I installed into my business. One of the other things we've done is we've included a free call. So regardless of if a lead is, does that make sense? So once you have your sales team and your sales, I've been there. I've had to let go of people that they were anywhere you can remove yourself as the bottleneck in your business and have a system and a team, it's good. What?